Good morning, everyone. My name is Rajan Hassan Abdullah. I have participated in the pedagogical course for training teachers. I am part of Group 9, and this is my Prezi presentation as part of the assignment that Dr. Allah asked us. The title of my presentation is the definition essay. This is my specialty. I teach essay writing, and one type is the definition essay. So I will try to talk about this type of essay, and hopefully my presentation will be useful. So let's start. The first one, I would like to talk about the definition of the definition essay itself. What is the definition? It is a type of essay in which we try to describe or explain a concept. This concept usually is not concrete, it is more abstract, things that we can't touch or see or hear. A clearer example would be concepts like these: freedom, loyalty, responsibility, family, love, happiness. These abstract concepts are a little bit difficult to define due to their nature. They're not specific. They are dependent on human emotion, so they're not easy to define, which makes the definition essay itself really difficult to do or to write. All right. Anyway, moving on. You could very easily describe one of these concepts by a picture, because pictures speak 1,000 words. But still, there are many other ways in which, for example, you could interpret this picture. This could mean freedom. This could mean femininity. This could mean something about nature. All right. So it's not easy to talk about these concepts even by pictures. Moving on, and to be more precise, I have included a video here, which you can watch later. This is very good. We'll just watch a little bit of it, and we'll move on to the next slides.
A definition tells what a term means and how it differs from other terms in its class. A definition also explains what something or someone is. There are two types of definitions. One is a formal definition, which is a brief explanation commonly found in print or online dictionaries. Next is an extended definition, which is a longer, more complex definition. A formal definition in dictionaries have a standard three-part structure. First is the term to be defined. Second is the class it is part of. And finally, the qualities that differentiate it from other terms in the same class. Let's look at the term cell. Its class is a unit of protoplasm. What differentiates a cell from any other term in the same class is that a cell has a nucleus, cytoplasm, and an enclosing membrane. The same applies to the term authority. The term is a power which commands and requires obedience. An extended definition can be introduced by a brief formal definition. It also helps support the essay's thesis, but it does not follow a set pattern of development. Instead, it uses whatever strategies best suits the writer's purpose, the term being defined, or the writing situation. You can use definitions on exams, abstractions such as freedom, controversial terms such as the right to live, slang terms such as y'all, when you know the term is unfamiliar to the reader and when the term has more than one meaning. Ways to phrase your definition include providing a true definition, not just a description, such as happiness is a 4-day weekend. Remember that repetition is not definition. The statement, abstract art is a school of artists whose works are abstract, clarifies nothing for your reader. And define as narrowly and accurately as possible, clearly differentiating the term from other terms in its class. There are several ways to organize your definition essay. You can organize it by using one of these patterns: exemplification, which is using examples to define the term; description, which is describing the term; compare and contrast, which is comparing the term to another term; process, which is explaining the process of the term; and classification and division, which is classifying and dividing the term into different subclasses. When you organize your introduction, you want to identify the term being defined in the essay. You will also state your thesis statement, which provides a focus for your definition essay, showing readers your approach to medical needs. I want a wife who will not bother me with rambling complaints about a wife's duties. I want a wife who will take care of the details of my social life. This example uses enumerations to list several specific traits of what a wife does.
Okay, next we move on to step 2, and in here I'll try to talk about what you try to do in a definition essay, or why you actually try to write a definition essay. You may say, well, teacher, you ask us to write the definition essay and we do it. And that is true, but that's not the only reason. There are many other reasons why you would want to write a definition essay. It has many uses. For example, if you focus on one of them, you have to tell the reader what you're trying to define. And this could be done in many ways. You grab the definition from a dictionary or from the internet, and you give it to your readers, or you try to define it yourself, but try to be as clear and as unambiguous as possible. Your information that you provide in this definition should be understandable and not complicated. Next on in the essay itself, you can use examples or anecdotes and things that the readers can relate to. Here I have another video, but I think we'll just skip over it. You can watch it yourself later if you want. Right now I'll move on to the next step. These are some examples of terms or concepts that you may come across and you may be asked to define. For example, love is defined as an intense feeling of deep affection. Now, this is not the only definition of love, but it is a clear and very obvious one. So you're going to have to either write this definition by yourself or get it from the internet or from a dictionary. Either way it works. But let me remind you that in this type of essay, you're not just giving this definition, but you will have to go further and narrow it down. You'll have to talk about what love means to you, or you'll have to combine this particular definition with an example from your life, or from like an incident about love, of course, from your life. You try to talk about this, and in this way you try to define what love means to you. Other terms like loyalty, like freedom, like happiness, things like that. Next step would be what you should do exactly in a essay like that. I have an example of an essay here. I'll read the first paragraph. We'll try to see where the definition exactly is. Here in the second line, if you could see, it says independence is a condition of a person, nation, country, or state in which its residents and populations to have the right to exercise self-governance. Now I've got this from the internet, and as you can see here from Google Dictionary, that is a necessary part of your essay. That should be included. Now then you should have your thesis here, of course. Here, as you can see in the fourth line, it says, I love to see an independent Kurdistan because it makes me feel like a free person. That is your thesis statement. That means what you exactly think about this matter. You have to state that very clearly in the first paragraph. And once you have that, then the rest of it will become easy. It'll become like actually like a narrative essay. You just give more detail and more information about your story and why you think think that. Last step. This is a step-by-step guide actually on how to do these things. Uh, you have to narrow down the topic, as I said, of course. If you talk about love, you have to be exact. For example, at the last line of this slide, I have said platonic love or romantic love or first love. You have to define exactly what type of love you're talking about. All right. Moving on, your thesis statement should be brief and clear, as I said. So again, clarity is very important in these type of academic essays. For example, assertiveness is also a trait or an abstract concept, and is standing up for your rights. A friend in need is a friend indeed. That is your thesis statement. It's very brief. Um, okay, so the definition, you can, if you don't know how to define something, if you try to do it yourself, and if you did not have access to the internet, for example, if you were doing a test and the teacher asked you to define some terms that you don't know, you can approach it by several ways. For example, define by function. You can literally define a concept by its function, right? Explaining what something does. We can define it by structure, tell how something is organized, all right? That is also another way by which you can try to define something by yourself. Define by analysis, you can compare the members of one class to illustrate the differences. For example, compare Siberian Husky to other dogs. Siberian Husky is different from other dogs in its ability to tolerate cold. They're extremely smart and they have amazing blue colored eyes. When you say these things, that means other types of dogs don't have this. This is called a comparison definition or a definition by comparison. This is also a good way to try to define something. So this is the outline of your essay. In your first paragraph, you should have your background information, the definition, and your thesis statement. And that's enough for your first paragraph. Second paragraph, you start by telling us anecdotes, stories, examples. In the third paragraph, the same thing, more information. What does the concept mean to you? You can refer back to your thesis. Plus, you can also always get accurate data information from authority or from like government offices or officials. These are all allowed in this type of essay. In the conclusion, you could repeat your definition, repeat your essay, and focus on one more important point that you want to talk about. So this was the essay. I hope it was helpful.